What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. And look, we got Chillmonger big on the screen already. You don't even have
Hey,
to... It looks like we didn't waste any time bringing our guest on. Give me just a second and we'll get the right screen on here. How about that? Righty there. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Second Street. And I hope you're all having a very good day today. Today, we are going to be talking about WandaVision. It is going to be a spoiler discussion, so if you don't want spoilers or anything like that, you might want to go ahead and check out here until after you have watched the episode. Because we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. And if you've been paying attention to my channel here, some of the things I've been theorizing about this episode, you know that episode 3 has absolutely blown my mind, and I'm going crazy with thoughts here. I actually have a little notebook here that I took a couple of notes of just some odd things, but you know what? After I got to the end of this episode, it made me realize a whole lot of other things. But anyway, I thought the episode was really good. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. And again, we are getting into spoilers, so if you don't want spoilers, make sure that you check out now. Because, you know, I know people lately seem to be getting upset about spoilers and all that kinds of stuff. Again, I'm not sure what's going on, but anyway, I really thought the episode was good. Chillmonger, what are your thoughts on the episode?
yeah, man, 7 out of 10 episode where it started slowly in the beginning, but then it picked up and we got into some Lost territory. You ever watch the show Lost?
I never did, no.
Well, sometimes it just gets spooky, and they did that.
Okay, yeah, and that's kind of what I got out of this too. Is like there's parts where just like episode 1, when we seen Miss Hart and she was sitting there, kind of like stop it. It's kind of whoa, like this is getting a little out there, and they kind of did that too here with Wanda in this episode too. Definitely.
Whenever they switch camera angles from that setcom setting,
oh,
you know it's serious.
dude, that was a pretty intense one. That was pretty intense when that happened. I would say on my first viewing, I was sitting like, whoa, like that was pretty intense. What happened there? But so overall, you enjoyed the episode a lot more than episode 1 and 2, I would say.
Oh yeah.
So the one of the things like I thought was really odd, just like getting right into it. Obviously at the very beginning, the neighbor there, huh? Herb. What's what do you think's going on there with Herb?
Herb is a genuine neighbor who was a victim of the Scarlet Witch's manipulating. Agnes as well.
You think so?
You know how we all say, oh, Agatha Harkness, this and that? That's a red herring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're just regular people.
Yeah, I thought it was odd, just the whole thing there when Agatha, or when Agnes, I guess, came in, and was sitting there talking to Herb, when they're just like, she just went inside, like they're talking about Wanda, you know, they're like, oh, she was pregnant, and they're just like the little things that they're talking about there, like, and then Vision comes up, they're like, oh, shh. It's like shot talk, and then the boss comes around, right?
Yeah.
But they're also aware of something else going on here. They're obviously talking about just things that they're there witnessing. Well, I mean, what do you think that's all about?
I think the people have seen and peeped through the windows of what's going on inside the Wanda house, the Vision house, the House of W. I think that's what they're talking about. Same thing with the library scene from the other episode. They all are talking about Wanda and Vision and what's happening in that home. And like I said earlier, it's not Agatha. She's just another one of the neighbors. They want you to think that she is Agatha.
Right. And my whole thing is like I started to think just the other day, like, and I was actually thinking about this for a while, but I'm almost convinced of it now. Is Agnes actually working for Sword also? And she's stuck there, trapped in that reality, and can't get out.
Here's why I don't think that. And you could be completely right. But Herb Herbert was talking about how Monica, Geraldine, doesn't actually have a home in this neighborhood. He said that
Right.
in front of Agnes. I mean,
Hmm.
that means Agnes does have a home in this neighborhood.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and that was kind of the odd thing too. Like I still took out of that first episode when she says, "I live on your on the right, my right, not your right," and the way she was facing on the right was Dottie's home right next to her. But then even in it was just really weird because but then you watch the intro of episode 2 and it shows the Joneses, then Wanda's house, and then it showed it like implied that it was her house afterwards. So there's definitely some stuff going on there.
you were paying attention. I was just laughing at the cartoon singing WandaVision.
Yeah, well, and when they pass by Agnes as well in the cartoon version, a part of the house in the background looks like a little witch's hat above her head.
Oh, they're really trying to make us think that, huh?
Yeah. Well, and I'll get into a little bit more of that, but I thought the way the months they described the months with the fruit and everything was kind of funny, and also the doctor as well was Dr. Stan Nielsen. I didn't really Google anything or anything like that, but do you think the doctor has anything to do with it? Because he was being very peculiar.
When you say Stan, I think of Stan Lee. When you say Nielsen, I think of the Nielsen television ratings. But maybe there's a creator named Nielsen who invented Wanda's character or Vision.
It could be. Yeah, like I said, I didn't look any of that stuff up, but I did notice his name, and I noticed the fact that he's there monitoring Wanda
Yeah.
while she's pregnant. And the weird thing is he's there. Some strange things happen. Vision mentions some strange things. They're talking about strange things, and you know, in this comic book of of was it, Vision and Scarlet Witch, in which they actually had these the kids and everything. Um, Doctor Strange is actually who comes over and checks out Wanda and is like, "Oh, hey, like this is some you pregnant and all this and that. I'll check you out, but I'll refer you to this other." Doctor that I know, and like I said, I still haven't got read through some of these issues, but it's odd that we've seen in the comic book is Doctor Strange that was there consulting Wanda, and here we got a doctor there. They're mentioning Strange all around. It just makes me think, like we know how the MCU is, and it makes my brain go crazy. Especially when there's so many other things in this episode that we'll get to in just a minute that go along with that. But I also found it strange that Doctor Nielsen said that he was getting ready to go on vacation in
To
Bermuda.
Bermuda.
Right. Isn't
Is
that
that
kind of
all though?
crazy?
Yeah. Is it just, hey, Bermuda, weird things happen in the show. Connection is that. Or is there more to the connection? What do you know about Bermuda?
Well, wasn't like didn't Magneto have an island or something in Bermuda in the comics or
Oh,
near
is that where it
Bermuda?
was? Oh.
I thought I,
I
th-
thought it
I
was in
thought
Africa.
I thought the X-Men did, or maybe it was Magneto. I thought they had something near the Bermuda Triangle. I could completely be wrong there. I could completely be wrong.
I know Utopia was right off the coast of San Francisco, but I'm gonna ask Google where was Genosha, and it's southern eastern Africa.
And while you're doing
It,
that, I want to say what's up to everybody here in the chats. I see we got Star Wars Santa. Hope you're doing well, Santa. This is the episode that fell a little flat for me. I think I'm just not sweaty enough to get all nerdy about the Easter eggs and subtle references. Well, here's the thing, and I think Santa's onto something here too. Is like, unless like me, I'm going crazy because thinking about what theories I have in the first place with like the Pleasant Hill thing, and then reading what I'm here reading because like that hasn't even escaped my mind yet. Along with what's going on in that Vision and Scarlet Witch series that was in the comics, because there's more that we'll get to in just a minute with that. The Widow is here. Thank you so much. Some of the Myrtle Maniacs that we've got here. Let's see. We got my friend Steve in the house. Says, what do you think the neighbor? Why do you think the neighbor was sawing the wall? Why do you think he was sawing the wall?
I have no idea why, and I do believe there is an answer to that question somewhere. That wasn't for nothing.
Oh, I think there is. We'll get into that in just a minute. Louis the 13th, thank you so much for being here. XR Coon says, Trinity, there's a SHIELD agent that runs Pleasant Hill in the comics named Dorothy.
There's a
Interesting.
doggy.
I was gonna say I don't remember that. I don't remember that, but that would actually make sense considering what we see here with like Oz. You know, they see we seen that in the trailer where it was showing at the theater there at the Coronet Theater. Let's see, we got Chillmonger and his blasphemy for episode 1 and 2, says the widow. Chris from Chaos and Comics is here. Thank you so much for being here. Says, who is an LMD? You know, that's interesting. I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't necessarily canon yet, kind of ish.
No, it's not. You should see
but
the interview.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, LMDs, I mean, they've been mentioned in the MCU before anyway, so it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility. Spencer, thank you so much for being here. Just says he just finished watching the new episode. Chris from Chaos and Comics says, not Tahiti though. Coulson spent time in Tahiti. Yeah, absolutely.
Chris, you got to check out Collider's interview that they did with Feige about a week ago, and he mentions the Marvel Entertainment Division like it's this separate thing. So I don't think it's canon yet.
All right. Well, here we got my man Captain Pennsylvania, another one of the murder maniacs, says the Island M was in Bermuda.
Oh.
So, and that is Magneto's island, isn't it? Isn't that Island M his? I think it is. No More Mutant. Hi, how are you doing? Yeah, so that's interesting that the Doctor there then says that he was trying to get to Bermuda all the more, and also then later he said that like it's the hardest thing like you trapped in these small towns, or how was it he said that? I can't remember exactly.
Yes.
He says small towns so hard to escape, which only feeds my theories about Pleasant Hill that much more.
Yeah, it looks like Sword tried to contain her.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm thinking too. So, what you were Googling something? It was the thing.
I was looking for Genosha, but it looks like Captain Pennsylvania solved our problem. The island of them,
yeah. Well, it's interesting that we sat there, we watched them. They kind of named the kids what they wanted the kids' names to be. When the kids finally came to be, they named, Vision gave in and decided to name the first one Tommy, and then they had the second
one Billy.
Yeah, interesting. I thought it was also interesting that they mentioned when they were talking about babies before, talking about names and stuff, and she says, "Well, let's hope for a girl." Man.
Oh, Hope Summers. If they go to Alaska, then it's definitely gonna be her.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, like we're talking about names, we're talking about this, we're talking about hope for a girl,
Hope.
and you know what's crazy is didn't like Vision ended up having a daughter later as well in the comics? Did you not? Is it?
That would be Viv, wouldn't it?
What was it? I'm not for sure because I don't know all of that stuff, but I do know that there is another. Yeah, I seen her on the cover. She was like it was like a girl version of Vision. So
yeah, her name is Viv.
Yeah.
I think there's actually 2 of them, but I didn't read the Tom King Vision. I just kind of read Champions, and I guess I got to put the pieces together. Maybe I should check out Tom King's Vision.
Okay, I was gonna say maybe that's one I need to go check out as well then too while we're at it. So there's all that kinds of stuff there with the kids. I mean, just a bunch of crazy stuff going on in this episode as well. Now the other thing that was talking about was I thought it was God, what was it they were talking the commercial again here in this episode. What did you think about that?
See, unlike the saw that Herbert was using and cutting into the wall, I think that these commercials are purely fun Easter egg stuff that we're too involved in looking into. Focus on the plot of the show, not the commercials. Who cares about Hydra Soak?
You think so though?
What could you tell me from episode 1 and episode 2's commercial that you can tell me today were significant?
I think it's this. Well, for one, it's the same lady in the commercial and the same guy in both commercials. They're obviously making these commercials, and I think they're agents of some sort. But it made me think. I'm wondering if the woman in this commercial is supposed to be representative of Viper or Madam Hydra. Because in the first one, she's sitting there. They're sitting there with the toaster. And that toaster, I'm pretty sure, was making that beeping sound of the countdown as that same bomb, that Stark bomb that blew up. So everybody talking about that, that maybe that's supposed to trigger those memories in Wanda's mind. Probably completely so. I'm on board with that. But then the next one, the second episode or the second commercial showed her. It says, and it started off, a man is not complete without his woman on his arm, and it showed her. She came up and stroked his collar, and then grabbed his arm, and they took off after they showed the watch off. And then in this commercial, you see her kind of in her house, all in peril, like, oh my god, all this stuff. And then there's a solution there for her. Get away from it all. Hydra soap. And it makes me wonder if this is all playing into a larger thing as well. But it made me really think about Madam Hydra, and if that's who this lady is supposed to be representing in those commercials.
Yeah. And it didn't make me think of Madam Hydra, and you could be completely right, and I'm now alert to it.
Yeah. Chris says kids are Speed and Wiccan. Yeah, absolutely. Will Morgan is in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see. I saw it. It might go separate, but it was canon even if it's not later. Oh, with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. House of M stuff. She's a pretender anyway. Says Chris. Right. Isn't that where they started all that?
Mm-hmm.
Captain Pennsylvania says, cool to see all these comic stories mixed into the show. Yeah, it is. And like I said, I think they're doing a lot going on here. All right, Steve's taking off. Sin Eater was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent named Stan. Sin Eater. You know what? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and he was recently in the Spider-Man comics as well. I'm gonna have a feeling that actor that played Quicksilver will play Speed. Very well could be. Very well could be. There's an Osborn named Stanley. All right. Standoff, Pleasant Hill. Hey, dude, XR, you're only... Don't make me go crazy quite yet here. It says Blue Squadron member is named Stan. Well, make up your mind, XR Coon. You're going crazy too. But I do really think that there's something to these commercials there for sure. Now the other thing with the stork, was that a little odd? With the stork being there?
There may be something to the stork. Well, we all know the stork is what delivers babies, or so we tell our kids.
Mm-hmm.
In this extremely PG rated, not PG-13, PG rated television show. That's where the kids came from. Other than that, I think the animal was just there because it would be a fun little sitcom-y thing to do, which is kind of the parts of the show that I dislike.
She could make it disappear. She could make it disappear neither. When she tried to make it disappear.
Did it make you think of Nightcrawler Bamf when the purple smoke was all there?
You know what? I didn't really think about that, but I mean, hey man. At this point, I'm not ruling anything out.
And Trinity, when I watch the show, I am like fixed for Easter eggs because I know everything is imagery and everything is for purpose. So when I see that, I'm like, oh, this may be a Nightcrawler. Are they going to say how it smells like brimstone? No. Okay, then it's nothing.
Yeah, and I thought it was odd because the stork shows up. Monica's there. Or, I'm sorry, Geraldine. Geraldine's there. But the stork, what was the stork there doing? Was he just there to be symbolic? What did the stork do?
I think it's just a little thing they did for TV. You think there's more to it? I don't.
I do. And then all those... Yeah, you see, look. And that's what Will Morgan just said that too. Giraffes. What's with the giraffes here? There's giraffes everywhere. They walk out from getting the crib in the intro. They've got a giraffe. We can see that Vision is still going to those meetings at the library with those people who gave him a virus, if you ask me. And the giraffes though too. I I thought that was odd too. I kept seeing the giraffes as well. You like talking about the imagery and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, I noticed that too. Definitely with that. Also, something else very interesting that this cereal that Geraldine was talking about. The
Marshmallows.
yeah, with the Marshmallow Moon
Spacemen?
Man. Yeah, Marshmallow Moon Man. The Gravity-Os. That's what they're called. Gravity-Os. Is that a little odd?
Sword agents, right?
Well, I mean, I was thinking that, but also, I mean, in the comics, Quicksilver ended up marrying an Inhuman,
Crystal.
and
Yeah, Crystal.
yeah, and they lived on the moon.
So could this be setting up some Inhuman shenanigans for Ms. Marvel later on in the year?
It very well could be, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we've got things here going on with X-Men, we've got stuff going on here with like Inhumans, and there's believe me when I say there's more in here as well.
Let's look out for that. Yeah, there's something to the Moon Men, and the reason why in this little bubble that Wanda has created, we have that specific cereal.
Yeah. It's crazy. Gravity-Os. They're just I feel like there's something to that. Now, the other thing is when we seen, okay, that's what when we seen the neighbors Agnes and Herbert talking, that like the first thing that I heard him whisper says, they're like, what is she doing? They said, what is she doing in here? Was exactly what, 'cause I wrote it down. Exactly, what is she doing in here?
She being Geraldine?
Yes. And I'm like, okay, specifically so they know that they are in somewhere, and they're asking what she is doing inside of there. So they're very aware of that. But then we also seen when Herbert was cutting the wall, he was zombie-like, right? He was like, and he's like, and that's when Vision said something to him. And he's like, oh, yeah, kind of creepy stuff going on there too. But then,
yeah, but it's because
he kept doing it.
Yeah, because Wanda was too concentrated on her pregnancy and everything happening in the house. That's when the malfunctions are going on with all of the background characters, because her spell isn't so strongly on them.
Right. Very well could be.
Or Agnes and Herbert are talking, and they're actually Agatha and Mephisto. And what is this sword agent doing in here? We're trying to F with Scarlet Witch to make her do our bidding, and Monica is ruining it. It could be that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the thing is, God, was it they're, what they're trying to do, like it's really crazy, and the reason I bring this up, like, because they do seem like they know what's going on. They know they're in some place, and they're very aware of that. But then his body's still kind of like I said, like his body was sitting there, just like he was just like not there. I thought that was very weird. And then I guess it was crazy too when Vision went to leave him, when he went to go inside after the doctor had left and was talking about, you know, it was so hard to get out of these small towns. He said he's like, oh, like thanks, Vision. He's like, I'll see you on the flip side, like, because he left like in a hurry after whatever Vision was talking about, and he's like, oh, like he was kind of startled, like, oh yeah, I'll see you on the flip side. I kind of like a lot of times I feel like I'm dissecting this stuff too much, but the way and manner in which he said it, and the way he was acting startled, the way everything happened there, makes it seem very significant. I guess you could say. Yeah. So I thought that was a little odd. But like I said, I mean, I could easily be looking into all this stuff too much.
You are. The accent returning from Scarlet Witch, maybe there's a little something towards that, where she just drops English and starts speaking her little Sokovian language. Do you know if the Sokovian language is based off of something?
That I don't know. That I don't know. But yeah, she was sitting there singing, and that was like the last thing that I wanted to bring up was Geraldine bringing up Ultron.
Yeah, it was so cool to have some MCU actually mentioned in the show.
Yeah, and I thought it was like, yeah, that whole conversation and everything going on there with Geraldine was it's pretty crazy. I think we knew something was going to happen in this episode. We just didn't quite know what or when, and it seemed like the whole episode they're there together in the house, and you're kind of on the edge of your seat waiting for it. You know, like when the kids were coming and she was giving birth to the first one, I was sitting there like, I was like, oh my god, like how is this getting ready? Is it getting ready to happen here right now? Yeah, and you know, and then obviously we see that some of the stuff we didn't see was the actual altercation with her blasting Monica out of there, or Geraldine.
Yes, we didn't. And we saw it in the trailer. The trailer had two scenes of Monica being ejected. The daytime one, which was in Little Fairview,
Mm-hmm.
and the second one we did get to see from the perspective of how it was nighttime and sword agents were all around. Why did they spend all that money on budget? I mean, you know what I mean, on CGI, but they didn't show it in part of the episode.
Right.
Will we get to see the scene? Like maybe the next episode, Monica will be like, "Well, I was at the little Wanda house," and then we'll get to actually see what actually happened, and that's where the scene actually shows in episode 4.
Ah.
That's that's a fair like little thing. I'm not jumping to crazy conclusions the way you are. I feel like that's more likely to happen,
Well,
where we'll get a little.
we'll get into a little bit more of that here in just a second. Well, and I think part of that reason is like we'll probably end up seeing those scenes later probably in the next episode or somewhere soon down the road. I'm thinking, but also I think it's because when we do see it, it's going to be because of that simulated environment where it was daytime when that altercation happened, and then it was nighttime when she flew out of it. So I think there's something to that because I think it is a simulated reality, and we've seen they had a perimeter around it. When she flew out of it, we seen the sword, or I guess we don't even absolutely know for sure that it was sword there yet, but we can safely assume that it was.
Necklace.
Yeah, and she had the necklace on, and it was crazy too. They had their guns drawn on her. They had their guns drawn on her when they all pulled up and seen that she was there on the ground. They had an ambulance there. All them dudes
Trinity,
pulled up.
she's black.
Oh damn!
It happens.
You're right.
No,
And they're like, she escaped our prison.
The helicopter had the little sword logo. Remember the one that turned into a toy?
Yeah.
So we got to see actual helicopters. So I don't think it was just the FBI. Maybe Randall Park's character is now a sword agent. We can say it's sword.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that it is. I'm pretty sure that it is. I mean, it just seems obvious, but I think that's what's going on there with that. But what like. Okay, so she's wearing the necklace. Why would she wear the necklace if she's a sword agent in there? So obviously maybe they are trying to jog her memories because she brought up she was kind of confused a lot of the time anyway. It seemed like she was really confused about a lot of stuff, and then she mentions Ultron, and that's where all this stuff started to go crazy.
But she mentioned Ultron after Wanda started mentioning things that happened. She mentioned, I also have a twin.
Like,
his name is
twin.
Pietro.
Right.
That's when I think real reality could seep in, and in the opening, that's when Geraldine became Monica for a second.
Right.
But Monica, Wanda was not having it and made reality back to what she wants. It's basically House of M, where instead of what everyone gets what they want, it's really just I get what I want, and she'll do the thing where time is reversed because this is a Wanda production. I like daytime, not nighttime. So even though it's nighttime outside in the real world, it is daytime now.
Right.
It's only going to be nighttime when I want it to be nighttime, when me and Vision are in bed.
Right. Absolutely. Now, let's get in here into the chats and see what we've got, what everybody's saying here really quick. Will Morgan was there with me on that giraffe stuff, man. That was some pretty crazy stuff. Let's see. Where were we at? So Cap says, so she will blame the Avengers for taking all this away, but we don't technically have Avengers. Yeah.
Not according to Spider-Man Far From Home.
Right. Right. Oh, Chris says, I think the comic continuity is being used as inspiration, not following it in any real way. Right. Well, and that's what I'm saying. I think what they're doing is they're taking a lot of these ideas and mashing them together. And I think like for me, the three big ones are the things that we know that they were talking about. I mean, they specifically said that they were taken from the Scarlet and WandaVision, or the Vision and Scarlet Witch series anyway, which is what. We'll get into that in just a second, because this is where it gets really crazy. But so they're taking some of that, but I think they're blending a lot of it together, especially by the time. And here's the thing: is we'll get into it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's see the drafts. They said the word fruit like 100 times. Yeah, yeah. I also thought Mojo could have had something to do with it, do with this because it's on TV, but maybe not. I think a lot of us are thinking that it's AIM, and I think there is AIM somewhere involved, because once again, we got the hexagons inside of the whole intro and everything. Everything was hexagons there. Nothing more to the stork. I'm with Chill MCU monger on that one. Yeah. Will Morgan says the communist Hydra meeting in the library. Yeah. And is it? I'm thinking it is, but I'm not sure that they're all Hydra. I just think that Norm is definitely Hydra or AIM, and the rest of them are probably Sword. You missed a comment I made last night in the community stream, says Eric. Oh, I'm sure I did, man. When we get guests on the show, it's like we gotta, trying to pay attention to that kinds of stuff. But I do apologize. Duder says, Wanda was ready to go crazy at Monica. Oh yeah, she was. Yeah, and she did too. I think Sword members are getting in but losing their memories. But I think they retain some of them, because like I was talking about yesterday with Philip Jones and that piano. Like, he was seriously hurt when that piano went disappeared. Like, he wasn't joking around.
Well, what did he say in this episode to his woman?
Oh, he said thank God when the electricity went out, because she says, do these earrings make me look fat?
Yeah.
The electricity goes out, he's like, oh, thank God. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Let's see. Will Morgan says the anti-gravity OS crystal moon opening in the episode of episode 2. Yeah, I was gonna say, and there was there was the moon at the very beginning of that episode 2 as well in that intro, which we're gonna get into. Like, I'm telling you, in just a second, there's more. Like, I'm telling you, go read that comic. Chill. When you get done here, you got to read that comic book series, dude. You'll start going crazy with this stuff. Godfather says Herb. Yeah, the Mephisto stuff is throwing me off a little bit. I'm not sure. Like the Mephisto stuff, I'm not really for sure. I'm not really for sure if we're gonna get that in this in this series. I'm not sure that it's actually going there. I think maybe they're gonna build to maybe Mephisto over a couple of series, and maybe he's gonna be a bad guy in one of the movies, or maybe in one of these other series at this point.
Maybe a reoccurring bad guy, the way we had Loki show up movie to movie.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Mephisto's Sam Cap villain, the brother of D-Man, is named Dennis, the mailman. All right. Are you dissecting a bit too much? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. A tarot deck in my house? No, I don't. Yeah. Got to pay attention to every detail. Yeah. Where you been, Cap? That's a good question. Seemed like it slipped her mind, and then she remembered. Yeah. Work a lot. All right. I guess we'll let you get to work, Cap. I guess we can allow you to do that. Vision should have reached in and pulled them out. Phased. Yeah. Will Morgan says whoever did the costuming is effing lit on this series. Chris says, I'm taking a dump. Does this have any MCU meaning? It actually does, Chris. It actually does. Mike Porter, thank you so much for being here. Costumes and cinematography for sure. Yeah. Yeah, with the costume and everything, absolutely, Godfather. Okay, I think I'm just about caught up here. I think I got banned from
Star Wars
Nerdvenger Discord, says Will Morgan. Oh no.
Star Wars Santa asks about 2800, the address that they have at home, and unless it's like an alternate reality, maybe that's the House of M Earth in the comics, and I don't know.
Yeah. No More Mutant says that ain't Monica Rambeau. That's probably Talos' daughter from Captain Marvel. It could be. It could be.
I like that.
The significance of their house address. I keep watching it as the house changes, but the address stays the same. Yeah. I've been paying attention to that too. I thought Agnes was the neighbor on the right, not Herb. Herb he's trimming the hedges. Even in that intro in episode 1, he's sitting there trimming the hedges with the clippers. With
He only has one setting trim.
yeah. So yeah, pretty crazy. Now, here's the thing that I wanna while I was kind of bringing up the zombie like state and everything, because in that first intro, or on episode 2, that intro where they did that whole thing where we're talking about the moon here, and I was talking about that sign when they land and they show the Westview sign, and she changes it from looking like a house to it looks like an industrialized like city. And in there's like the electrical lines look like they have black crosses on them. And so I was wondering if there was something to that. This is where it gets kind of deep. I was wondering if it was a reference to Black Talon. And sure enough, Black Talon is actually on the cover of issue number 1 of the Vision Scarlet Witch series, and he's there with Necra, and they are actually trying to get Vision because they need Vision to resurrect some of their dead friends, I believe. I think this is where
This is the first I'm hearing of the hero Black Talon.
yeah, they're trying to get Vision, but what they do is they get a hold of Scarlet Witch. Now, what they're trying to do, who they try to get lure them in with, is zombies. They have these zombies, and Vision is setting their phase shifting through them, and being hard as diamond don't stop them. He tries everything, so he starts to phase shift through them, and that doesn't necessarily work. So he starts to phase shift through them, and then he was going to do kind of thing, where he was going to rip out something in their bodies and make himself hard. But as he went to phase shift through them, he kind of got stuck to him, and it made him shut down. And they started sort of like taking his energy, and so it was like a weakness that he had. And so I thought it was very interesting. And then I think the zombie reveals to him, because he's telling him, like, dude, like, don't touch me again. Don't touch me again. Because they were just there to take him to the Black Talon because they need to use him. And it's very, very interesting when we get into more of this, more of the things here, because this is where they bring in a whole bunch of they bring up Wanda and Pietro's past, kind of how they were raised. This is where they talk about Wanda's parents. She says, my mother Magda was a Balkan gypsy who fled Magneto's cruel embraces in the last days of her pregnancy and found Bova, a woman evolved from a cow by the high evolutionary of Wundagore.
I'm familiar with that story.
Yeah, and she says, twins she bore before plunging onward into the storm, pursued by fears no one else will ever know. Then came Bob and Madeline Frank, who had learned of Wundagore during their years as the Wizard and Miss America. And in that intro, we get an Easter egg of Wizard in there. Believe me, I'm keeping an eye out for Miss America as well. But they were actually married. It says Madeline and her own child died in birthing. So Bova presented us to Bob as his own. But thinking we had caused his wife's death, he refused us, and so we came to be raised by the Maximoffs. So this guy Bob had basically blamed Wanda and Pietro for the death of his wife and their kid, and that's how they ended up with the Maximoffs. And then she says, as we grew and our mutant powers became evident, the villagers nearby turned on us. Pietro and I wandered Europe for years, willing ourselves to forget our past until Magneto, all unknowing, recruited us for his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. But we were never evil, though the world had called us so. So when Magneto was seemingly destroyed, we turned to the mighty Avengers. And they're just kind of going into her history a little more, and eventually what they are trying to do is they are, and I can't remember who it goes on here through who they're trying to resurrect, their friends, and this is when we get who is it that's resurrected here? Well, see right there, Death. Or not Death, but Grim Reaper.
Grim Reaper, whose helmet was in the episode 2 intro.
Right.
Oh, I laughed at you last week, but no, I can't do that anymore. There's something. Keep going down that rabbit hole. You might just find a rabbit. That's the expression, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Does any of them wonder why it walks again? Why its eternal sleep has met a nightmare? No one of them seems to, as they march single file to fill the crypt's far corners. The last is as the first, a crumbling mockery of what was once a vibrant individual. And then one more. There is one more, the Grim Reaper. And I said, Eric, you're here at last. And this is where Grim Reaper is there with Necra. Yeah. So this is when
it looks like this is the comic that the creators read.
Right.
And I don't think they read everything in Wanda's history. They probably read this, House of M, and the Tom King Vision. And then they're like, okay, let's make a story now. Because reading is hard work and we don't want to dedicate that much time. But we'll take little bits from here, there, and boom, let's make a series.
Right. And that's what I think, and I think they're doing that in a means to expand everything here, with all of that. And so, yeah, it's pretty crazy here. And who do they have there that they're trying to use Vision to resurrect? This is something else we've heard and seen through some of the leaks and interviews and stuff as well. Simon Williams.
Ooh, Wonder Man.
Wonder Man. And this is who Eric is, his brother is trying to resurrect. Now,
Patty Jenkins is going to be pissed.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's interesting too, because the thing with the Williams, with Simon Williams and their company is I was gonna say XR was talking about Phoenix Rising also. The thing here is like obviously the Williams were at some point kind of in like were enemies, I guess you could say, in some sort of lawsuit with Tony Stark, who, what did Tony Stark do? Well, we know what Tony Stark did. He did what he does best, was he appropriated their technology. Hashtag the Stark Sham. Hashtag Hail Hydra. Oh, anyway. Sorry. Sorry, I may have gotten a little too into that. But, yeah, certainly, and here's the thing: is they actually do end up resurrecting him, and there's Ultron plays into this whole scheme as well. We've got Ultron, we've got Black Talon, we've got Necra, we've got Grim Reaper. All these things have been referenced just in that intro of episode 2 of WandaVision.
Now, the thing with the intro is that's developed at a separate time that the TV show is developed. So maybe when they had all this time, with the director specifically, and he's not on set, he's like, hey, can you throw this in the intro? Throw that in the intro. We're going to have fun. Put this helmet there in between the floor. And that's all it is.
Yeah.
If it played more to the story, then it would have been there on set during the shootings of it. Same with the commercials. If it plays into the story, then it wouldn't be part of the commercial. It would be part of the actual WandaVision. So that's just me trying to reason why I dismiss these clues that you're seeing.
Right. Well, and I think it could very well be maybe they're just putting all this in here to make you read the comics and let you know that they're pulling from all of these different things. And I think that's really what's going on here because all of this stuff still ties into my theories. And like I said, I had that's only in issue 1 of that Vision and Scarlet Witch series, not anything to do with New Salem. When we get into that, where there is all the is a place much like a Pleasant Hill, much like Wakanda, that you can't find on a map, that has an invisible barrier that keeps it from being noticed by the average man. New Salem is there, and it's filled with mages and all kinds of good people, bad people, good demons, the succubuses. Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. And there's that, but then also just even my theories with the Pleasant Hill thing, and I think all of this stuff is actually going. I think it's all going down here and just kind of being mixed together. Like I said, there's too much stuff.
Show me the cover of the comic again, because the show is called WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the comic series is titled Vision and Scarlet Witch.
Right.
Which shows you the regression, the olden days, where even if you are a fake man, your name is going to be first on that cover before the female character Scarlet Witch.
Well, no, and I was going to say, and that's the thing in this in this series is, and it starts off exactly like that, where all right, it starts off where Wanda and Vision are actually at Project Pegasus, with Vision being examined and looked at, and he's sitting there telling these doctors who are checking him out, he's telling them like, dude, I'm a real person, I'm a sentient being, I'm a real man, essentially. Yeah. And they kind of go, and that's where they kind of go into a lot of this stuff. And he's telling them about his past and all this stuff. But essentially, how he has an android body. His body is prosthetic. Essentially, his shell. How he used to be the Human Torch. How he was trying to be used as Ultron. Ultron was trying to use him. All of these different things, and he's talking about how he is a real man with real emotions and all of this stuff. All together.
Okay, there, William Regal.
Huh?
Okay, there, William Regal. He's a real man.
Right. which only brings up more of like the Pinocchio kind of stuff, right? That they even insinuated in Ultron. We got Ultron mentioned in this episode. There's Ultron mentioned right in the first episode of this, or in the first issue of this thing. And like I said, there's just so much going on.
That could be the villain at the end. In the end, the Ultron parts of Vision comes out, and finally we have someone to fight.
Right, and I mean, maybe he's working, and maybe Ultron has sided with an evil organization. Maybe he's working with, obviously, probably using them, somebody like Sword or AIM or anything like that, or working.
We thought we got rid of all the little Ultrons, but that's not true. One of them got away, and we kept them on airplane mode. That's why we didn't sense them.
Right. And here's the thing is, what had happened at one point was Ultron went and got Vision's old body and took it to the original creator of that body, which was Dr. Phineas Horton. And he took the body, Vision's old body, to this doctor to basically fix the body so Ultron could put himself inside of there, or I think this is where he was trying to get maybe Ultron had been created by Henry Pym, known then as Goliath, but the intelligence Pym had given was unstable. Ultron wanted to kill his father, because here they're showing Wonder Man brain batteries on here. He found the aged Professor Horton and forced him to refashion my form in its current state, replacing my ability to flame on with the ability to alter my mass and solidity, adding the ability to absorb and discharge solar power through the jewel in my brow. Finally, in his desire to make me more mechanical, like himself, Ultron bulk erased my mind and gave me a new voice and personality, incidentally using the recorded brain patterns of Wonder Man as a model.
Boom.
So
Tony's brain, Bruce's brain, Ultron, all these things that made Vision. Now that the Mind Stone is gone, it will be replaced with Simon Williams's brain.
Yeah.
There's a vacancy there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just everything that we've got going on here in this series. Like I said, we've got the Grim Reaper. We've got all these things that were Easter egged in that second episode are kind of all at play here in this episode, I think, as well. Just kind of how it's all mixing together. Because like I said, we've got the Ultron. We've got just all these people in here just doing these. Just following along a lot of what's going on in this storyline of this Vision and Scarlet Witch series. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm telling you, go. If you have Marvel Unlimited, you gotta go read. You gotta go read this thing. Gotta go check it out.
Oh, what's the name of the author? Is one of them Nielsen?
Let me see here.
The artist or colorist or inker or editor?
Let's see. Writer is Steve Englehart. Penciler Richard Howell, letterer Lois Buhalis, inker Andy Mushinsky, colorist Janet Jackson. Colorist was Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson.
Was Justin Timberlake doing inks? Oh no, you already said no. You get the joke, right? The Super Bowl.
What? Oh, right.
Timberlake. Oh, okay. Englehart. The name of the boss was Mr. Hart. Maybe that's a little subtle reference. Maybe.
Yeah, I was saying. Like I said. I mean, going through this series altogether. If you get a chance, like I said, go check it out because it only feeds into my theories more. And then, again, I still think there's some Pleasant Hill vibes going on here as well with this reality. I mean, what we can see of it. And to be honest with you, when Geraldine flew out of it, it didn't look like it took much force for her to fly out of that reality. It didn't seem like she like bursted through it and it was like sitting there like stretching and it didn't want to let her in. It seemed like or let her out. It seemed like it just let her pop right out. Where we even seen in the commercial, we seen in one of the trailers, we seen the beekeeper going through that underground tunnel, and he was doing that, and he went through, and it seemed like he just kind of crawled through it, kind of stretched around him a little as he broke into that bubble. Which it's kind of weird that manhole came out right in front of Dottie's house. Weird.
What do you mean weird? Elaborate on this weirdness of Dottie's house. Dottie's Mephisto?
Dottie just seems to be a strange character out there in the neighborhood. She's kind of the neighborhood alpha, if you will, of the women. And are they all mages? Maybe are they all witches? Because that's something else that goes on when you get into like the New Salem and some of the things that tie in to all of this story. But that's why it made me wonder if they're dead. Because something that Herbert even said there towards the end of Vision, he looked at him, and that's when he walked away with that nervous smile. He's like, Vision, he's like, I gotta go. I'll see you on the flip side. And he took off. Like he didn't want to tell him. And it made me wonder if they're all dead.
I am wondering that right now.
Because if they're all dead, we're essentially talking about Wanda being, and I mean, we're getting into like graveyards and we're getting into like the mystic kind of this stuff. And that's what I said, reading through this story and seeing all the stuff going on in that story and what's going on in this story. Plus we see the sword. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on here. And that's why I said, like, I can't sleep at night, Chillmonger. I can't sleep. Let's see. Jonathan says, hello, everyone. Have the stream muted and I haven't watched it yet. But okay. All right, Jonathan. Will Morgan says, dude, listen. Wanda's power is probability, synchronicity, aka chaos magic, and reality warping. Yeah. Ooh. And that's something else. Like, I've been talking about this video. I got these clips to kind of build this case where I think there's possibly a lot of this stuff going on with AIM, with Sword, with kind of the whole Pleasant Hill thing, and then this episode only adds that much more to it, along with these comic books and what we're getting in this series, because every time, like when she in this episode too, like I thought my Disney Plus was skipping or something, because the scene where she's there on the couch and she didn't like what Vision was saying and she blinked and he came back and said something else. Creep.
That's what Perry Comics said when he watched it during his reaction. He's like, "Did my computer just skip? What's going on?" And I had the same thought.
Right.
But no, it was her doing the reverse time thing that she did in the prior episode.
Right.
She wants things her way.
And what did Baron Mordo warn us about that? Was temporal manipulations.
When you use Blackstone.
Yeah.
But everything that she's doing in here is sort of, it's like the mirror dimension.
Right.
Basically, so I wouldn't say the rules apply over here anymore. Everything is a warp of reality.
But I think they do apply though. I think it's the same kind of thing that she's got going on here with what she's doing, because essentially she in that one,
it only pertains,
because she rewound the episode and then they kind of jumped back there. It's like she's changing it herself. She's changing the times and rewinding stuff, and I think it's causing that. Even like they showed that with the eggs and the chicken in the first episode too, in the first episode where she was doing that temporal manipulations. I'm like, I think it's all kind of plays into it, and that's probably where Doctor Strange comes into a lot of that stuff too, because he's supposed to protect the realm from that stuff.
Now she's not changing time in the whole universe. The only place she's warping time with even the day-night cycle is that neighborhood
that we know of. But I mean, even if it is even in just that neighborhood, it would still cause a hole or a rip in the time and space there of that reality, would it not?
I don't think that.
Kind of like I think when Red Skull got shot off into space, remember it ripped a hole there too. I think there's something to that as well, where you kind of seen the planet open up, or even when they when Dr. Arnim Zola, Hail Hydra, first created what Tony eventually appropriated and tried to get patented as Badassium. When he created that new element, you seen when they were harnessing it, you kind of seen around him the space was kind of opening too. And I think them tampering with a lot of this stuff is really kind of what we're getting into with the multiverse, is tearing holes in the fabric of our very reality. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. It just, the how is where I doubt. But the multiverse shenanigans are starting here on this show.
Right. Yeah, and the reason I'm thinking that too, like with her messing with time, is because that's really what it was all about, is all magic, and that's kind of what Baron Mordo was out there like. He's like, man, there's just too many sorcerers out there, and essentially wielding magic would make you sorcerer, right? Yeah.
Yes,
I'm thinking. Yeah,
but it's like probability. Somebody wrote a comment like an hour ago, and they were like, her power is chaos magic, which means manipulating reality and probability.
Right.
The magic that they explained in the MCU, it's been a while since I saw Doctor Strange, but the sling rings access energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No? Was that it?
I think the sling rings, they need, God, what was that? I can't remember exactly what they need all that for, but it was definitely their key to opening the portals to the other, well, just basically those instant portals that could basically take them anywhere, essentially. I would have to look into that a little bit more. But yeah, there's just a lot going on there with all that stuff. Red Raven 96, thank you so much for being here. Says that ending to the new episode though. Yeah. That was good, man. It was good. One thing I add, I like how the WandaVision episodes, they change aspect ratio in the same episode. Yeah. And like I said, this one was heavy. This one was heavy. Like I felt it when they did that.
That's the thumbnail of my review video on my channel. It's just me doing this because they changed the aspect ratios. And that's when like, oh, it's getting real. Look at me, my popcorn. Oh, the episode is over. That was a great cliffhanger.
Yeah. And that's, you know what, like this episode, it kind of met my expectations for that too. I'm like, I think this third episode is one that's going to really get everybody in because it's going to give us an intense moment and leave us on a cliffhanger right there at the very end. And they did. And it's all stuff we see in the commercials.
Yeah, the only scene, I think I mentioned this earlier. If I did, I'll just repeat it for everyone who wasn't here. The only scenes that we haven't seen yet from the trailer were the Halloween episode. And I think the Halloween episodes are in the 80s. That's Chaos and Comics was telling me. I think we will be up to speed as of episode 4, similarly to The Mandalorian. Episode 4 was all we've seen in the trailers. And then things just open up. And with so much hours, we were promised 6 hours of WandaVision. We've got 3 episodes that were all 20 minutes. We have 5 hours of show with let me do my math. With 6 episodes left. We'll get 6 episodes in 5 hours. I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I was going to say, you're talking about, we still haven't seen that Halloween episode, which is really crazy. Because here in this issue, God, which one is this?
I thought you were going to tell
I think it's
the intro had
I think it's number 5.
Witch's hat.
This is the Land of the Dead. Scarlet Witch is the number 5, the 12-issue limited series, right? And it's got that, and it starts off. The others call it.
Oh, he definitely read this comic. Yep, we're basing this series off of this comic and House of M.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is here is they go to the Magic Mansion, and this is where they are there with Glamour and Illusion. Some people who are helping Wanda and Vision in their community fit in and trying to basically help them fit in their community of these people, the bigots in the community who don't want a witch and a computer, a synthezoid. They're living. Ooh, and that was crazy. They mentioned synthezoid in this issue or in this episode.
When did they mention synthezoid?
I think it was towards the beginning of the episode after the doctor left.
Oh, Wanda called him a synthezoid, or he called himself a synthezoid.
She called him a synthezoid. Yeah. And synthezoid is something they were talking about in this comic too, in that first issue, when they were talking about all this stuff with Ultron. Like, I'm telling you, when you get done, man, go take a couple bumps off Marvel Unlimited. Oh, and you all should. If you're here watching this, make sure you go check it out. One thing I'll add, let's see. Duder says, next episode should be seeing more of Sword outside of Wanda's bubble. Dude, I think the next episode is, I thought this episode was going to be longer, honestly. I didn't even see how long it was. It was still like a half hour, wasn't it?
And most of that is credits.
Yeah. Yeah, it is too. I think the next episode is probably going to be a longer one, and I think it is going to really blow up this series more for sure. Especially just after these first 3, and it's like, okay, like there's a lot of setup here. Yeah,
there's a lot of Darcy we haven't seen yet, and if she was doing promotion, she's probably a considerable character.
Absolutely. But anyways, do you have anything else to add before we wrap this up?
Nah, man. Go check out my review if you want to see me repeat some of the stuff I mentioned in here.
Absolutely. I was going to say, I seen you just dropped a video a little bit before we started the stream here. Guys, make sure that you go check out and subscribe to Chillmonger. Thank you guys so much for being here today. If you're not already, please make sure you subscribe. Click the little bell and all of that good stuff so you know when to be here, when, you know, you want to be here, right? Especially tonight, because tonight is the Trailer Park Live coming at you at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, you know, like I said, make sure you subscribe and do all that stuff. And go check out Chillmonger as well. Make sure you subscribe to him. Good channel. Does a lot of great videos. But you all have a good day, and we'll see you in the next video or live stream. Later. Oh, is this the... Oh, come on. It's not working now. All right. Streamlabs app thing.